Murmur, 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 said the baby. Murmur yourself, said Robin. I'm only 5 years old, and I can't take care of a baby. I will find somebody else to take care of you. Robin sat down beside the street, for the baby was getting very heavy. Murmur, 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 said the baby. Murmur yourself, said Robin. What am I going to do with you? An enormous truck came by and stopped. A truck driver jumped out and walked around Robin 3 times. Excuse me, said Robin, do you need a baby? The truck driver said, well, murmur, 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 said the baby. Did you say murmur, murmur, murmur? asked the truck driver. Yes, said the baby. I need you, yelled the truck driver. He picked up the baby and started walking down the street. Wait, said Robin, you forgot your trucks. I already have 17 trucks. What I need is a baby. You can have the truck. I'm doing my author study on Robert Munsch. He was born in 1945 in Pennsylvania. He did struggle in school. One thing he enjoyed is he enjoyed writing poetry, and that includes silly poems. And after he graduated, he studied for 7 years to be a priest. He figured out that that wasn't for him, but he did enjoy working with the children. So he decided to work in daycare. And that is where he met his wife, and they both got laid off from daycare, so they moved to Canada. And he feels that if he would have never moved to Canada, he would have never started telling stories. He just feels that he wouldn't have done that if he would have stayed in the United States. He did begin writing at age 35, and all of his books are based on real children. And he performs his stories for children before they become books. And his wife and him adopted 3 children, Andrew, Julie, and Taya. And the book Murmur, Murmur, Murmur is actually about adoption. The little girl Robin was their next door neighbor. That's why he put her in the book. And the baby in the book is his son Andrew, and the truck driver represents Mr. Munch. There's another book, Boo, that is based on a real child. Mr. Munch was visiting a school in Canada. The school's name was Lloyd George Public School in Hamilton, Ontario. And when Mr. Munch visits schools, he sometimes doesn't like to tell them that he's coming, and he just shows up, and when he's there he likes to stay with the local families. And at this time he just showed up. The teacher's name was Karma McKay, and he was telling stories to the class, and a kid named Lance asked him to tell a story about Halloween because that was his favorite holiday. So he made up the story for Lance. Sort of like the book, there's some pieces that are different, and by the time he got it good and decided that he was going to make it a book, Lloyd George School had closed because he was trying to track down Lance. The teacher actually heard that he was trying to track down Lance, so she contacted him and said that Lance had moved back to Jamaica, but she did have a picture of him. So he was his inspiration for the book Boo. Mr. Munch is most proud of his book, Love You Forever. And that's the book I am going to read to you. He actually started it out as a song. And his regular publisher didn't want to publish the book. But it is the top #1 selling Canadian book for the past 10 years. And usually I can't read it without tearing up, so I will try. A mother held her new baby and very slowly rocked him back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And while she held him, she sang, I'll love you forever, I'll like you up for always, as long as I'm living, my baby you'll be. The baby grew, he grew and he grew and he grew. He grew until he was 2 years old, and he ran all around the house. He pulled all the books off the shelves, he pulled all the food out of the refrigerator, and he took his mother's watch and flushed it down the toilet. Sometimes his mother would say, this kid is driving me crazy. But at night time, when the 2-year-old was quiet, she opened the door to his room, crawled across the floor, looked up over the side of the bed, and if he was really asleep, she picked him up and rocked him back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. While she rocked him, she sang, "I'll love you forever, I'll like you for always, as long as I'm living, my baby you'll be." The little boy grew, he grew and he grew and he grew. He grew until he was 9 years old, and he never wanted to come in for dinner. He never wanted to take a bath, and when Grandma visited, he always said bad words. Sometimes his mother wanted to sell him to the zoo. But at night time, when he was asleep, the mother quietly opened the door to his room, crawled across the floor, and looked up over the side of the bed. If he was really asleep, she picked up that 9-year-old boy and rocked him back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And while she rocked him, she sang, "I'll love you forever, I'll like you for always, as long as I'm living, my baby you'll be." The boy grew, he grew, and he grew, and he grew. He grew until he was a teenager. He had strange friends, and he wore strange clothes, and he listened to strange music. Sometimes the mother felt like she was in a zoo. But at night time, when the teenager was asleep, the mother opened the door to his room, crawled across the floor, and looked up over the side of the bed. If he was really asleep, she picked up the great big boy and rocked him back and forth, back and forth. While she rocked him, she sang, "I'll love you forever, I'll like you for always, as long as I'm living, my baby you'll be." That teenager grew, he grew and he grew and he grew. He grew until he was a grown-up man, and he left home and bought a house across town. But sometimes on dark nights, the mother got into her car and drove across town. If all the lights in her son's house were out, she opened his bedroom window, crawled across the floor, and looked up over the side of the bed. If that great big man was really asleep, she picked him up and rocked him back and forth. And while she rocked, she sang, "I'll love you forever, I'll like you for always, as long as I'm living, my baby you'll be." Well, that mother, she got older. She got older and older and older. One day she called up her son and said, "You better come see me because I'm very old and sick." So her son came to see her. When he came in the door, she tried to sing the song. She sang, "I'll love you forever, I'll like you for always," but she couldn't finish because she was too old and sick. The son went to his mother. He picked her up and rocked her back and forth, and he sang the song, "I'll love you forever, I'll like you for always, as long as I'm living, my mommy you'll be." When the son came home that night, he stood for a long time at the top of the stairs. Then he went to the room where his very new baby daughter was sleeping. He picked her up in his arms and very slowly rocked her back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And while he rocked her, he sang, "I'll love you forever, I'll like you for always, as long as I'm living, my baby you'll be." He actually wrote that story after 2 of his babies were stillborn. And that is one of his he's most proud of this book. There are 71 million of his books in print in North America. So he started at a very late age writing the stories, but he was a storyteller first, and then he put them in print. And a lot of times he didn't have the title for the book until after it was written. He has a book, Something Good, that is based on his daughter, Kaya. They're in the grocery store. He's there for the basics, milk, bread, eggs, and Kaya is filling his shopping cart with 100 gallons of ice cream, 300 chocolate bars. And he's telling her that you do not need this. And I would incorporate some math, some social studies with this. We could get out the play money and put price tags on items, and we could buy these items with them. They had a certain amount of money. They could only get what they need first, and then if there's anything left over, they could get what they want. We would talk about how everybody has unlimited wants, but we have a limited amount of resources, meaning time and money. There's no way you could eat 300 dozen eggs before they go bad. And then we could do some art. We could have something that we want on one side and something that we need. I really, really, really love Robert Munsch's books. And if you ever go to Tumble Books, he actually narrates his books, and there's some action to it. And it is fabulous to listen to him tell his own stories. Thank you.